stigma, no fear. Subscribe, stay sharp, and don't sniff the stinky socks. Don't sniff the stinky socks.
Heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks. Bought some Bitcoin late at night. Woke up rich, that ain't right. Checked again, never mind. Broke as hell, see that line? Maybe risky, maybe wild, but so is betting on Uncle Clyde. Do your research, read your blogs. For heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks.
Don't smoke your socks.
1, 2, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Everybody hit that light.
No foam, no fear. Subscribe, stay sharp. Don't smoke those stinky socks.
Here we go. All right, legends, welcome to another live stream. I hope you've remembered to smash up that like button on your way in. Let's do a little bit of technical analysis over here, just a little bit, okay? We're just going to do a little bit of technical analysis, look at the green and purple candles. And right, you know, some people tell me, Dewald, why don't you make your purple candles red? I like purple, right? I like to see purple as opportunities from a shorting perspective, because as from a psychology perspective, and this is something that I do cover in my trading course, but just a little bit of a teaser. From a psychology perspective, we as humans we have been programmed that red means danger. Red creates fear, subconscious fear in your mind. So when you see red candles on a chart, it creates fear and it prevents people from taking those shorting opportunities. When I see purple, I see opportunities. And from a psychology perspective, that is why my red candles are purple, purely from a psychology perspective. So do yourself a flavor, okay? Do yourselves a flavor and change your red candle to any color that you like on the chart. Double click on your candles, okay? And this is where you change the color, right? We all have the red over here, okay? You just make them all three red. You know, this is the chart that everyone stares at on a daily basis. They see red and they start creating fear. Okay, I like purple. Purple for me is easy on the eyes, especially when I do night trading. It's very easy on the eyes for me, and one of my favorite colors. Okay, you can have a different shade of whatever you want to put in here. That was not the right one. Okay, I think it's that one over there. Right, legends, just starting off the live stream with a little bit of fun over here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let me go through some comments, say hi to the community, and right, let me put the music ever so slightly there in the background. And also there's a setting just quickly I want to change over here. There we go. There we go. Now it looks all nice and crispy clean. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but the quality of my camera, do you guys see the quality of the camera? It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Okay. Right. Let's go here through the comments section. Let's go. Trendy Twist TV, welcome to the live stream. Genso, welcome, man. Mr. No Financial Advice mod here in the house. Always appreciate the moderator support in the channel, moderating the comments, deleting the bot attacks. Always much appreciated. Bitcoin is range bound, but you know what is not? The like button. It can go parabolic with your help. Smash it up. Yes, legends. You know what? You know what, legends? I want to do something for the first time here on this live stream. I want to do something for the first time here on the live stream. Okay, and I'm not sure which way I need to go. I either want to give away something small, $100 to someone here in the live stream, or maybe 2 people, $50 each. Let me know which, you know, $50, you know, I mean, my brother takes $12, $10, and he trades it to $400, $500 in one day. So, you know, it is possible to make a lot of money with small money if you do know what you're doing from a scalping perspective. But I either want to give away today in this live stream. Okay, let's see how the like button gets the love today. I want to give either away $100 to one person or to $50 to 2 people here on the live stream. So let's see how it goes. Right, let's go here to the bottom of the comments. I know there's a lot of people joining in. Irina, welcome to the live stream. I did see your comment here. Mark Dutch, man, my man, welcome here to the live stream. Always appreciate everyone joining, and I see people are still rolling in. I just want to swipe here and see what guys, there's just something that I need to close here because it's sending me notifications which are quite disruptive. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, 2 people 50. Do you good give of you? 2 people $50. Okay, I get the picture. Okay, I get the picture. Right, so you guys would, I'll take 50. I'll take 100. Okay, so it does look like people are preferring 2 people $50 each. All right, you know, it just gives more people a chance to win, and I will be giving away more prizes here on this live stream. Okay, right, legends 250. Okay, I can see 250. Right, but we're not going to do it right. Mark, 153 people. Right, let's go. Dewald, big TA as always. Do Sui, please. I will see if, yes. You know, guys, I want to do a couple of altcoins, but I will leave that towards the end of the live stream because I have noticed that people drop off the live stream for some reason when I do go through altcoins. So I will take altcoins, but I will take the ones that I think most people will be interested in, like Sui, Ethereum, you know, the big ones. Okay, maybe Doge from a meme perspective. You know, and we can go through the comments here and see what you guys want to have a look at. Okay, right, Dewald are happy today. Maybe I am. No, you know, yeah, let's just leave it at that. Right, legends, let's start with a little bit of technical analysis. Some things that I do like to do on my channel, guys, is that I just want to point this out. I do go into my live streams. Let's just go back here, reset this over here, go back into my channel. I do like to go into the previous live streams and I read the comments everyone made, especially after the live stream as well. You know, so, you know, also, if you want to show support, you don't know how else to support this channel, just go and leave a comment after the fact, after the live stream, inside of the comment sections. It also helps the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate everyone leaving comments. I do try my best to respond to every single question, especially when there are questions. And right, there was someone, Pokerk 13, probably go up. You are wrong. You know, and I responded just by saying, no hate, okay, no hate. It's not about being right or wrong every time. And you all know, the loyal diehard followers over here, you know it's not about always being right or always being wrong. Because as a technical analyst, it doesn't matter how great your technical analysis is. There are going to be times where you are wrong, okay? And then, you know, that's where the stop losses are there to protect you. So you said we're going up, you are wrong. Well, you know, in this live stream, I did speak about a very important level. I'm not sure if it's going to bring it up. Ooh, wait, is it? Yeah. I did speak about a very important level. I just want to see if I just quickly scan through it over here, if I can find it. There we go. In this live stream, yesterday's live stream, I spoke about a very, very important level. Can you guys see that level over there, that where the red box is? Okay. Can you see where price bounced? To the dollar. I was waiting for that level. I was waiting for it. You know, it's not about being wrong or right. It's about having your levels ready. And I actually harped on that yesterday during the live stream. Guys, it's about having a trading plan to the upside and having a trading plan to the downside. Yes, you have to sit on your hands, damn well be patient, okay? And now what happened today, bam, to the dollar, right? 786. Well, that was the level that I spoke about yesterday. We spoke about the reaction at that level. I told everyone I'm not convinced. There's a little bit of sign of weakness when we make that. Let me just zoom in there. When we make this little bounce here by the 0.618, I told everyone I see a little bit of weakness. I'm not convinced. And guess what? We made another low. Okay, this is where we got the consolidation. We moved up. I saw the weakness in CVD. Just take, it's not because I'm great, it's just reading the chart, and you know, there was bearish CVD building up. We took the low again. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was actually a beautiful longing opportunity, right? And then we got rejected here with a trade that I highlighted this morning in our Legends Pro community. Okay, so I mean, guys, there was quite a lot that I shared here in our Legends Pro community this morning, okay? And I'm sure Andy, if you guys follow Andy as well, you know, this is the trade that Andy took as well, right? A beautiful short from the naked point of control. Not sure, let me do this. Let me just swing my face the other way. Right, there we go. This was a trade that I highlighted to the first trade, actually, this morning at, what time did I post this? This morning at 9 o'clock this morning. I thought it was at 5:30 because I usually post something at 5:30 in the mornings as well. I'm quite an early bird, okay? I highlighted this trade. I looked at Elliott wave theory. I looked at the value range profile. Guys, you don't understand how much work goes in the background, and then all you see is a little picture of where I'm planning to short. Okay, but it's not just about, okay, there's a line and I'm planning to short that line. There's a lot of technical analysis that went in behind this short here to the downside. Yes, I didn't target the lows because I wanted people that take the trade to have guaranteed profits. Okay, and we all know the rule, that there's that rule where you leave some of the position open for lower levels. So actually what happened is price came and claimed the lows. So if you did leave a little bit of a moonback open, you would have maximized your profits to the downside. But I was just targeting the support zone over here to guarantee, though, well, if the legends do take this trade, you know, I want them, and they are targeting the exact level here, you know, from a trading perspective, at least there's some guaranteed profits. Okay, yes, it can always go higher and lower from where I'm longing and shorting, but you know, I want people to walk away with profits in the bag. Okay, right. It was a lot of scenarios, legends. Another one that I highlighted is to say, well, a different perspective is you take a trend-based fib from the low to the high to the low. I'm looking at the 1-to-1, the 1.236, and it's in the zone also from a trend-based fib extension perspective where we got the rejection. Okay, then I said I'm just really struggling to look for long opportunities at the moment, so I will consider a swing failure pattern from the local low. So we didn't get this one, we actually moved up first, but I need to consider all scenarios. Also, wait for the break of the trend, but now one might argue, Dewald, okay, let me go back here. Okay, let me go back to the chart. Guys, I like to do education, and it's always important to go back to see, well, how could you have done it better? Where is that trend? Right here is there's the trend. I said legends. Okay, this is exactly the words that I used, and I can show you. Right. You can also wait for the break of the trend. Just remember, there are loads of resistance above, so if it does break out, be aggressive with profit taking. It also looks a little bit like a bump and run. But I did say, guys, you know, because I'm highlighting shorts over here, okay, I'm acknowledging the trend and there could be a breakout, but this resistance over here was concerning. So I said, well, if you do play the breakout, which we got successfully to the upside, but then please be aggressive when you hit those resistance profit taking areas to the upside. And that is exactly where we got the rejection. Okay, so let me switch on my point of controls. Right, that is exactly, okay, I highlighted the short. I said if you do play the breakout, please be aggressive with profit taking. So maybe you did get in here with your stop below the low, you took some profits, hopefully you protected your position, you got stopped out with profits in the bag. You guys see how important it is to manage your position, okay? Does it have a chance for upwards momentum? Of course. Okay, right, legends, we're going to go through what I'm seeing on the chart in a moment. Okay, I'm getting there. In the meantime, remember to smash up that like button. Right, let me conclude what we spoke about. So there was a trend line breakout. I didn't feel the longs. I really didn't feel the longs. I was more looking for shorts. And right, and this is just something I shared from a dominance perspective. If we can remain and keep a lower high over here, there's a chance that we could come and hit the first area of support or major support to the downside at 61%. So just a little bit of higher technical analysis in terms of what we could expect for some love going potentially into the altcoins. So quite a lot was said. There was also a Doge trade that I highlighted. Doge trade. Said wait for the break of the trend, or this box looks very interesting. So now I actually want to see, well, what did Doge do? Interesting. It hit the box. It hit the box. It did hit the 0.88 as well. Don't particularly like it, but it still has a chance. You can see that it's respecting this trend. He is holding on, right? It's holding on. So if there's any chance for a breakout, you need to form a lower high. So it has a chance, but Bitcoin needs to play ball. Bitcoin needs to play ball here at the moment, okay? Just want to see if I see a sign of strength. No, not at all. There's a lot of longs piling in here at the moment. A lot of longs piling in here at the moment. But I mean, it's worth a shot, right? It's worth a shot. And if you did get into this trade, if you were able to snipe the 786, like I spoke about yesterday, right? Even if you got in a little bit late, your position should already be protected. So you actually now have a free trade. It's amazing to have, you know, a free trade. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, because you could form the higher low now and pop out once again. Definitely no problemo. Okay, and you have a beautiful entry here to the downside. If you did not have the 786, well, you could have played the swing failure from this little pivot over here. And I was watching this level like a hawk. I was on Andy's live stream. I'm not sure if any one of you were there. I know Mark was there. Okay, let me just swing myself here back to the upside. Okay, there we go. Right, so this was the entry zone. Definitely the entry zone. Okay, from a trend perspective, simple trend perspective, look at that. That definitely becomes a profit-taking area. Okay, I'm not saying you have to close your position. I'm saying you have a pretty amazing entry here to the downside, especially if you can now protect your position. Look at where you rejected. Okay, that now becomes TP1. Okay, you have a protected position, you already took some profits, now you're leaving a moon bag open because there's a chance that it could break out again. And then you are already inside of the trade with a really good entry. And if it successfully breaks out over here, you could potentially add back into the position, maybe play that breakout for continuation back to the upside. Right. The trade that I would prefer. Okay, so let's now talk about a couple of trading scenarios that I'm now currently looking at. If you missed this long, okay, guys, please do not FOMO into a trade, right? You know, as it was pumping over here and I saw Andy was talking about this level, I'm sure that there was people FOMOing into the trade here at the highs, right? But look at where you rejected. Again, let me see. Yeah, okay, again. Okay, you left a week behind. I don't like it. I don't like it when you leave weeks behind at a trend line. You know, you guys know the deal. I've spoken about this a couple of times already. I don't like the weeks left behind on a trend, and it increases the probabilities that you're going to come and claim this low again. Okay, just a game of probabilities. Never guaranteed, but a game of probabilities. So the next trade for me, let's go on to the 5-minute time frame. I will consider a swing failure from the low again. Okay, but price then needs to get acceptance back above the level. The only time I will consider it, because I want to be able to get in and protect my position as quickly as I can. Okay, so the next trading scenario that for me is a better trading scenario is for price to fall down here and get acceptance back above. That is where I will trigger along. Again, it's the best, it's the easiest trade for me to get into. Okay, right. A little bit further down, remember this fib extension. Let me show everyone where I get it from. Let me just clean up the chart over here. Okay, so still on the 5-minute time frame. Let me just catch my marbles. I might have to go to the 10-minute, okay, to get the whole thing here into the picture. Just to show everyone where do I get the fib pool from. You take your trend-based fib from the highest point in this structure, to the lowest point over here, to the high over here. Okay, and this is where I get this trend-based fib to the downside. We got a beautiful reaction at the 0.618 as per yesterday's live stream, and now we bounced perfectly on the 786. So this is still a strong level, because look at how we consolidated at the 0.618, and we eventually chop, but we did get the momentum here to the upside. Okay, swing failure from the local low over here. So I will consider another swing failure. It's the easiest trade to get into, but I do acknowledge that we can create a higher low and then shoot up without claiming the low. But from a simplicity perspective, for me, this is the easiest trade to get into, because I know exactly what I'm looking for. You grab the liquidity, all the early longs that jumped in over here on the first reaction, okay, people that longed from a little bit higher, that FOMO'd into the trade, they're now going to get stopped out. So that gives me an opportunity after they get stopped out to get in. Okay, obviously then no reaction. If price continues to fall here to the downside, we have the 1-to-1 extension. I like the 1-to-1 extension because we also have a naked point of control, which provides additional support here to the downside. Okay, in perfect confluence with the 1-to-1 extension, we have a naked point of control, which means that there is a high volume node inside of this range. Okay, volume is usually a tough nut to crack, so I do expect a reaction in that zone, and I want to trade that reaction. Okay, right, legends. So next trading longing opportunity for me is a swing failure from the local low. Next area, if it gets nasty and aggressive here to the downside, okay, is the 1-to-1 extension together with a naked point of control. Okay, let's just take it level by level for now. And I mean, you know, you can go even further down, guys. I don't know how aggressive the drop is going to get here to the downside. Okay, you can take it level to level, but you know, this is what I do, guys, on a daily basis. This is the frustrating thing about trading, is that you have your levels and you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you're like, okay, finally my level got tapped, let me get in, protect my position, take profits. Oh crap, there I get stopped out. At least I got stopped out with profits. You wait for the next level. Okay, no reaction. Let's just say it reacts a little bit and it continues to the next zone. 1.236 together with this pivot, swing failure pattern from that pivot. I like it when price action aligns with levels. That is beautiful. Okay, you can see almost with every level here I have confluence, so I will be paying attention with each level here to the downside, scalping the longs. Okay, maybe this happens, right? It does this, it does this, and it continues forward, and I can take advantage of every bounce to the upside. Right, like what happened here by the 0.618. You got a nice little bounce here to the upside. Okay, if you are not in this short, this is not a zone where I want, because you might be asking yourself, Dewald, but then why do you want to long the downtrend? Why do you want to long the downtrend? I know that this is a form of advanced trading, but if you are not in a short from this zone and you're starting to get the momentum to the downside, it's very difficult to jump into the short. If you are not in a short from over here, like Andy, okay, you also showed the short over here, then I would rather wait for the longs. Just trading the reaction bounces back to the upside, leave a moonbag open, maybe we get continuation to the upside. Okay, but now let's see. Okay, now I want to go back here. let's go on to the 1 minute time frame. Let's analyze this little structure. Okay. You know, this is now where you could have a chance, an attempt over here. So what I like to do is to take a fib from the low to the high. I mean, if the bulls wants to turn around over here and not take this low, they need to do it now, because once you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities that you're going to come and take this low. So if there's any chance for this structure to form a higher low, it needs to be right here. And this is usually the best entry, because your stop loss, you know, from your entry to your stop loss, tiny risk management. Okay, I want to see if there's another way to get into this trade. Right. Let's see. It's not the most beautiful, but I would wait for the break of that trend. Okay, so there's always another way to get into a trade. Guys, one thing about me is I do not FOMO into a trade. If I missed it, I missed it. Okay, if I missed this long from a swing failure perspective and price is pumping to the upside, I don't enter, even if the probabilities from my technical perspective is high that we're going to continue higher. I will not FOMO into a trade unless I have high conviction that price is going to go much higher. And then when I plan my trade, for example, let's just say I plan my trade and my analysis says we're going to $110,000. Okay, my stop goes below the low. I'm entering where price is, for example, at the moment. Guys, this is not the trade. I'm just using an example. I don't want people to FOMO in over here. But if I have analysis that says that this is a great TP1, from a risk to reward perspective, it still makes sense. I will then still jump into the trade. Okay. Right, let's take the scribble here out the way. And I want to put an alarm on this trend so I don't miss the trade. Just want to see something over here. Oh, now that is the trend. That is the trend that needs to be broken. Okay, so you know, I always, you know, when I miss a trade, I try and find another way to get into the trade. If I missed this trade, for example, then I'll have my trend line breakout strategy. And I'll be like, okay, either I get the swing failure where I can have another attempt. That's a much better entry than getting an entry over here. I mean, just logical, right? So I'm either waiting for the swing failure pattern, or it's going to continue down to my next level. Okay, I need to see the reaction before I will entertain a trade. Or I miss the trade completely, it breaks out over here, then I can have another attempt with my stop below the low, exercising this strategy. TP1, TP2, and you leave a moonbag open for higher levels, right? So it's just about applying your trading strategies with good risk management. Okay. Right. Hi, Dewald. Price on 1 minute made lower low. CVD done higher high. Yes, I do see the weakness. I can like to see the weakness, you know, like the weakness we saw over here. When was it? Yeah, yesterday. It was over here, right? There was bearish CVD. As I was ending the live stream, I told everyone I still see weakness. Okay. We had bearish CVD forming. Blue, yellow, we had bearish CVD. We had bearish CVD. And I said, guys, you know, it doesn't look too convincing. It looks like we're going to take the low again. And that's exactly what happened, right? CVD on the smaller time frames always takes priority over larger time frame CVD. Because I can tell you now, I know that there's a lot of people looking at this. Okay, let me just zoom back over here. Let's go to the... What did I do? Let me try that. Okay, let's go to the 15 minute. Okay, let's zoom out into this whole structure. There are people looking at, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is absolutely insane. Okay, people are looking at the 15-minute time frame, 1 hour time frame, and they're looking at this and they're going, holy moly, look at this bullish CVD. There's only one way, and that is up. There's only one way, and that is up. You have a triple confirmation. Yes, I acknowledge the bullish CVD, which tells me that there is potentially still better long entries than trying to look for short entries. So it starts creating a little bit of bias for me to say that maybe it's still in my best interest to look for longs. But the local CVD in this structure on the 3-minute, 5-minute time frame always takes priority over larger CVD. Always, because if you are locally forming bearish CVD, it means that price could still chop, just bearish CVD, bearish CVD, bearish CVD until it starts turning around where the larger CVD then starts playing out. But then you need to have local CVD that supports the larger CVD to go and take the high. So you need to learn to use these indicators properly. Okay. Sound is echoing. Sound is echoing. Right, guys, let me know if my sound is good, or is it maybe just on one person's side, because it looks cool here on my side. It is going through the mic, not my laptop mic like sometimes. Okay, but I mean, I have to acknowledge CVD is absolutely tanking here at the moment. Okay, so it does look, guys, and what I said yesterday as well, and maybe I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Okay, if I go here onto the 15-minute time frame. Sound is fine. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Irina, it's good. Matt, good. Kevin, good. Okay, perfect. So, if the sound is bad on your side, maybe reboot your phone, or sign out of YouTube. Maybe go back in, close the tab. Maybe go back in, clear your cookies, clear your cage, whatever you need to do, because there could be a technical issue on your side, perhaps. Right. So, let me clean up the chart over here. Yes, I'm not sure if I spoke about it yesterday, but maybe I did. From when we've created this high, okay, and I might get into a lot of trouble and hate for this, okay, especially if people are going to say, but you were wrong, if the opposite is going to play out. For now, based on what is happening over here, for me, there is still a higher probability that regardless of what happens here, even if we tap the 1.236 or even $101,000 here by the 1.618. So let's play out worst case scenario. Price starts tanking aggressively here to the downside. For me, regardless of what happens in this zone, we are still going to come and take out this high before we have a much deeper correction to the downside based on this structure that I'm seeing here at the moment. And that's currently based on the price action that's available right now. Okay, as price action develops, I might change my tune. But for now, I think there is still a high chance that we are going to come and claim this high. Okay, and all of this is still corrective. I went into detail yesterday why I don't like that structure. Do you guys remember when I went into the smaller time frames and I said I don't see a 5-wave structure? Okay, but I need to give it the benefit of the doubt. What if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This is now your ABC, which forms a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's still a chance for an impulse here to the downside. But now why is it chopping? Third wave needs to be impulsive. Volume, selling pressure now needs to start kicking in. It's not falling. It's consolidating. What is this? No, it needs to fall. Okay? You guys don't understand. You want to see a third wave, right? These are third waves, guys. These are third waves. That is a third wave. They are aggressive. They pump. They don't give you an opportunity to get in. Okay, that's a third wave. And you get them to the downside as well. Now, price is, I don't know what price is doing over here. It's still ranging. So that's why I said in the thumbnail, there's a chance that this range is still going to continue. And for now, based on the price action, okay, I think there's still a high chance to come and claim this high again. Before we go to, some of the levels people are calling out, $90,000, $88,000. I think we're going to claim this high first before we maybe go down to those levels. Right. Okay, there is a couple of scenarios. From a trading perspective, the reason I have this trend-based fib taken from the high to the low to the high, this is how you get these levels. Okay, that is also where I look for longing opportunities, is because this provides you with areas to look for longs. If you are not in a long, if you are not in a short, and you're looking for a fresh trading setup, okay, look at the beautiful reaction at the 618. We tapped the 786 to the dollar. We, I think we got rejected there by the trend. Definitely a profit taking area. If we swing failure that level again, I will be interested. Next area, point of control. You have a point of control here as well, like I've highlighted. So from a trading perspective, without going into Elliott wave theory or making it very complex over here, okay, trend from the high to the low to the high, pay attention to these levels. If you have additional areas of confidence, I mean, look at that. Beautiful pivots for a swing failure pattern at the 1.618. This little pivot over here, beautifully in confluence with a 1.236. So I have price action that aligns with these two levels beautifully. Okay, if it gets really nasty here to the downside. 1-to-1 extension, naked point of control. 786 was in confluence with that pivot where we got the swing failure today. Okay, so very important trading levels if you are looking to scalp a little bit of longs here to the upside. Right, legends, now we can jump into a little bit of structure or Elliott wave analysis in terms of, well, what am I seeing? There's a couple of things that can happen over here. One of the things that I am strongly considering at the moment is I have a fresh new chart over here, which is the Bitcoin USD Coinbase chart. And I am strongly considering swinging over to this chart. I'm still doing some back testing from a volume perspective to see, well, does it benefit my trading strategy or does it worsen my trading strategy from a volume perspective? Does it leave scam wicks behind? Is it worse than Binance? So it's not just, okay, I choose a chart and I start trading on that chart. I need to see if the chart will positively contribute towards my trading strategy. So, okay, I'm going to do fresh analysis over here. I'm going to do a lot of back testing over here, but I do see that a lot of elite top traders out there do, for some reason, prefer the Coinbase chart. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can successfully also trade the Coinbase chart. Some of you might say, Dewald, but it's a Bitcoin chart. Isn't it the same? No, it's not the same, because if you trade certain BTC pairs, you'll have scam wicks to the up and to the downside that you don't see on the mature charts. You won't see it. Okay. Right, I just want to see something over here. Does that also look like a three-way structure here on Coinbase? Yeah, it's a three-way. Guys, this morning, I might be petty, but this morning, I was zoomed into this little structure. And I was just like, well, is there any way that I can count 5 waves here to the downside? Am I missing something? I was stuffing around here on the 1 minute time frame, 30-second time frame, just to try and figure out what on earth is going on inside of this structure. Okay, because remember, if you're going to go to $90,000 to $88,000, this has to be a 5-wave structure. Has to be. So I was stuffing around here on the smaller time frame, trying to figure out, is there any way that I may be missing it? So, you know, then you go, okay, you know, this is some of the thinking process. 1, 2, okay, your 2 tapped to 0.88, very low probability for this to be a 1, 2. Now I need a third wave with the most amount of volume. It's not allowed to be the shortest. Now I got this. What is this? Okay, it's almost the same length as my first wave. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your third wave is not the long. Let me do this. Okay, ever so slightly. I'm not sure here on Coinbase. If I measure the first wave, the length of the first wave. Okay, this is the stuff I go through in the mornings, guys. This is the stuff I go through in the mornings. Okay, so your third wave is slightly longer. But now I'm trying to make sense of the structure. And by all means, guys, if you can count 5 waves in the structure, please share it inside of the Legends community. Okay, let me go here down in the description, click on more. we have a Legends community. There's a free section and a paid for section. Even if you're inside the free section and you have some analysis that you would like me to look at, or maybe you count 5 structures like now, okay, share it with me. Just tag me so I get a notification, right? But this is where you join our Legends Pro community. So I was trying to figure out, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so maybe that's a wave 1. Right now I have a wave 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a corrective structure, so this is 2. Okay, then we have this to the downside. Okay, that becomes my wave 3. Okay, well, where's 4 and 5? Did you guys see how the structure is confusing me? So even on the smaller time frame, I cannot count 5 waves in here. And by all means, if you can count 5 waves in here, by all means, okay? Then I was even in the camp of, well, what if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but then you need 3, 4, 5, 4. No, it doesn't work. Okay, it's not an impulse. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What the hell is this? A massively extended third wave. And then what is this here in the middle? It doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyways, right, Legends. One of the best things that someone once told me, Mr. Kuhn. I think Kuhn told me this, right? If you guys don't know who Kuhn is, okay, let me give him a shout out. Mr. Kuhn, this is Mr. Kuhn over here, right? If you guys don't know Kuhn, he's one of the best Elliott wave analysts that I have ever seen in my life. And really is one of the best, right? He also taught me a lot about what I know, and I think it's only fair that I give him a shout out. I used to actually be in his community. I used to be a member of his community because I just loved to learn about Elliott wave theory. And this was way after I was already trading successfully. And this is why I say, guys, I was already a successful day trader. And then only did I start learning Elliott wave theory. So you don't need to know Elliott wave theory to be a successful day trader. You just need to apply your trading strategy. Support, resistance, read the structure, whatever the case might be. So I need to give Mr. Koons a shout out over here. If you guys, want to go and give him a follow and some support, there you go, right? Here's his channel. But he once told me that if a structure looks confusing, do not zoom in, zoom out. Okay? I think it's one of the best pieces of advice that anyone has ever given me. So when I zoom out, ooh, where is it now? Here we go. Well. Now that, when I zoom out, where's that structure? Is it this one over here? When I zoom out, it clearly looks like a 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. So whenever things becomes confusing, the biggest mistake most technical traders make is that they zoom in onto the smaller time frames to try and figure it out. And the best thing you can do is zoom out. If it looks like a 3-wave structure on the larger time frames, it's most likely a damn 3-wave structure. Okay. And the reason, or this little structure, sorry guys, it's that one over there. Okay, so on the 1 hour time frame, it just looks like a up and down. Okay, so now you need to go a little bit lower. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Okay, also just looks like a damn 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? Where's 5? There's no 5. Okay. And the reason I spent so much time here this morning, you might be asking, why is Dewald so obsessed with this little structure? I'm absolutely obsessed with this little structure because this little structure determines whether we're going to $95,000, $88,000. That's how important that structure is. And if it's a 3-wave structure, remember guys, if this is, okay, a 1, 2, and we want a 3, a massive impulse to the downside, where this becomes 1, this is 2, and you now want a 3 here to the downside that takes you to $90,000, maybe 95, 88. You don't know how aggressive it's going to get. Okay, when a structure ends over here in a 2, you have to start with 5 waves to the downside. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a tick. Then you have a correction in a 3-wave structure to the upside, tick. But now, after you've made this little high, the first move down has to be a 5-wave structure in order to get continuation aggressively to the downside. This is why I'm so obsessed with this little structure. And because for me, on the 15-minute time frame and even on the 1-minute time frame, it looks like a damn 3-wave structure, it decreases the probabilities that we are going down aggressively right now. And it increases the probabilities that we are still going to range sideways and still come and take out this high. This is why this structure is so important. And this is why I keep on talking about it and keep on hammering about it. Okay, because when you end and you want to move impulsively, you have to start with 5 waves to the downside. So it started great over here. Beautiful 5 waves. Beautiful 3-wave structure. And then the probability shifted right over there. Okay, so can you guys see that depending on the price action that I see, I can change and switch probabilities? And this is why when I did a live stream while we were forming over here, do you guys remember we were trading over here? I did a live stream and I told everyone, I'm not getting into this trade. I'm not shorting, I'm not longing. It's just, this looks like a 3-wave structure here to the downside. The only way that I will jump into a long or in a short is if we push up and take the highs and start trading back below. Because once you've made a new high, now you have a fresh opportunity to form 5 waves to the downside. Okay, and then that could have been very interesting for continuation to the downside. But because we didn't take the high, I wasn't interested in a trade. Okay, but you know, there was a short that I took. There was a long. I'm still taking trades, right? But I'm trying to determine, well, are we going to fall aggressively or are we still going to go sideways and still take the high? And for now, based on that little thingy over there, I think the probabilities from a technical perspective are still higher to take the high before we get a deeper correction to the downside. If we even get a deeper correction to the downside. Okay, so now I've spent a lot of time explaining to everyone, well, why this damn little structure? Why is Dewald so obsessed with this little structure? It's very important for me to look at the structures to determine probabilities to either the up or to the downside. Okay, and it's also because of this that I took this long. It's because of this that I took this long. Okay, or even the long year, swing failure from the lows, okay? You just need to pay yourself. Get stopped out at break even. You look for another SFP or the levels that I've just spoken about to the downside. Okay. Right, legends, there is always the chance that my technical analysis is wrong, and that's why I always use the words probabilities, because nothing is ever guaranteed in the market. Okay, it's just a game of probabilities. There's still a chance that this is a 1, this is a 2, and we are now just building up momentum to absolutely crash. Maybe a bear flag, if you will. Okay, we have lost the trend here on the larger time frames, on the 2-hour, 4-hour time frame. We have lost the trend, so maybe we build a bear flag and we do then continue here to the downside. Who knows? Okay, a very interesting scenario. Okay, that I'm looking at, you guys will see that I have an ABC over here. Let me just switch on the lines so everyone can see it. And maybe before I go into the scenario, guys, remember, okay, if you want the biggest bonuses that these exchanges has to offer, okay, the links are always down in the description, where we've spoken to these teams, we've spoken to the CEOs, and we've asked them, give us the best deals to offer to our communities. Here they are, weeks. Right, you get 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account to trade with for free. You have to leave your money there for 3 days. You also get 25% discount on your trading fees. My brother actually phoned me this morning and he said he's really struggling with his scalping on Mexi at the moment because they've increased the fees. Oh, okay, so now, now he's considering a different exchange, like Weeks, for example, where you buy the native token and they drop the fees. I'm not affiliated to the native token at all, but I can declare here, and just be transparent with you that I do own a lot of WXT tokens, and not because I want to make money. well, it does help with making money, especially if the trading fees are low. So I do own WXT tokens on weeks to push my trading fees down even below 25%. Okay. Here's the link down in the description. They have that $1 million event that's running where you can spin the wheel and win prizes, trade the most amount of volume, have the highest P&L. For every damn category that you can think about, there's a prize to be won, right? That's the link where you register. And then BTCC, up to $10,000 sign-up bonus, and Bluffin, right? You have 15% cash back, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 15% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. I have noticed that the larger account traders, people that trade with that's trading with account sizes over $10,000 and higher, they do prefer these two exchanges. Okay, right. Also your way to support the channel. So let's continue over here. Let me, maybe before I go through more scenarios, because it's interesting, guys, to go through these scenarios. What could happen? Are we gonna, go sideways? Are we gonna form a triangle? Are we gonna claim the high again? Is there still a bullish case where this is the low and we're just gonna rampage here to the upside? It's interesting to talk about these scenarios, but what's most interesting to me is those little sniper entry levels, okay, that we often take here together. I think, this was the live stream we did together. Inside of the live stream, we entered this short. If I remember correctly, I took profits, TP1 over here, I took TP2, okay, took a little bit more over here and went to bed, closed my position. I am not particularly fond of leaving positions open overnight. I don't particularly like it. And the reason I don't like it is that I don't get quality sleep for some reason. It works on my mind that trade is open. You wake up to go to the bathroom, you check your phone. What is Bitcoin doing? Like, for some reason, when I have a trade open, my sleep quality goes down the drain. So I've just decided and made a conscious decision that I'm just going to close trades before I go to bed. I sleep way better. And it's silly because even if I've taken majority, so let's say I closed 90% of my position over here, and I've got my final TP limit set over here for the additional 10%. Just the fact that there's something open running in the background for some reason screws with my mind. So from what's the best word to use? From a sanity perspective, I just prefer to close a trade when I go to bed, unless it's a swing trade. Swing trades, I can sleep perfectly fine because it's low leverage, low capital positions. Okay, but these little scalps, I usually go in with high leverage, big position sizes. Okay, right. So let me go through some comments. Hit the like, guys. Yes, if you haven't done so already or forgotten to hit that like button, let's go. Weeks, yes, thanks Mr. Crypto Big Brains for highlighting the link here inside of the chat section. Mexi has 0 fees at the moment. I know that even on the P&L screenshots, when you post the P&L screenshots, it says 0 fees. But me and my brother had a long conversation today, and he says he's struggling. He's struggling to make profits because the fees, they might say 0 fees, but he's struggling. The fees keeps on eating up into his profits. And so I'm not sure if they, I don't want to say it, guys. I don't know if they are right. If my brother is saying that he's not making the same amount of profits, but he's still winning his trades because the fees keeps on eating into his profits, because you have to remember my brother is a very low time, high leverage 200x scalper. Okay, and he plays very small moves to the upside and to the downside, and that's how he turns $12 into $400, $500 in one day. And if his win rate is still exactly the same in terms of his strategy and what he's doing, but now the fees are eating up his profits where he just breaks even the whole time, something doesn't seem right over there. Okay, right, I definitely agree. Mexi is dodgier than a I mean, guys, I still enjoy trading on Mexi, but I play larger moves. Okay, my favorite time frame is to play the 15 minutes. So my brother might have taken, a good scalper might have taken 50 trades inside of this zone. They play up, they play down, they play up, they play down. They're just scalping the range up and down, up and down, up and down. Where for me, I would look for the larger trades. Okay, get in, nice big move, okay? So you don't really, the fees don't really have a massive impact on bigger moves. But when you're a scalper, you know, and you taking $10 moves, $50 moves, yeah, it's not worth it, especially on some of the larger exchanges. You know, you're basically just trading to break even on fees the whole time. It can be similar to addictions in that way. I feel it as well. I'll take a trade and watch it play out when I have other things to do, despite having all the appropriate levels marked out with alerts. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A really good username. It reminds me of Elliott wave theory. Yes, I mean, it's a psychological thing, you know, and it's, you know, trading also teaches you a lot about yourself. So I know myself well enough to know that, well, if I want a good night's rest because tomorrow I need to get up early, I've got a lot of things to do, okay, just close the trade. Because I've also learned that there's always another trade around the corner. Okay, I can wake up in the morning and look at the price action and say, okay, there's the level that I'm planning to short, which played out to perfection. Okay, there's the level I wanted to short, played out to perfection. For those of you that joined the live stream late, well, you know, here's the proof. Okay, there was the short that I was looking at this morning, exactly where we got rejected. So because I know that there's always another trading opportunity around the corner, okay, there was the long that I was looking at, basically a swing failure pattern from this low. Okay, there was the long and there was the short. Sometimes you just have to be patient and you have to wait for price to come to your area of interest. So while price was, where was it? While price was here and it was pumping here to the upside, but it was basically here. Price was here. Okay, let me go check. Where was price? Okay, you see guys, it was still pumping here to the upside. I told the legends I'm not doing anything. I'm waiting. I'm not going to force a trade and try and enter a trade over here. Okay, it's not my style. So most of the time I sit on my hands and I wait for my alarms to go off. But because I know, okay, there's always another trade around the corner, it's easy for me to get out of positions before I go to bed. Okay, because I know myself well enough that I just struggle to sleep while I've got positions running, especially if I have high leverage positions running for some reason. Right, so legends, now let's get into a little bit more technical analysis over here. We love caps lock. Well, caps lock, you know, when people write in caps lock, for me, it looks like they're screaming. I'm not sure if you guys pick up the same energy from people that writes in caps lock. They might just be writing the most gentlest, you know, I love you, your stream's great. But because they write it in caps lock, it sounds like they're screaming at you. Okay, I know a micro scalper that uses Bluffin, but I never used it. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if Bluffin has a native token. I'm sure all of these exchanges have a native token. I know Mexi has a native token. My brother actually, we researched it this morning because he wants to get some MX tokens to bring down his trading fees. We just went to go check out the price and check out, you know, is it worth it? Should we rather trade with Mexi? Okay, so we did some research this morning, which is not concluded, by the way. Okay, I think the same. Been trading on Mexi for over 3 years. I tried weeks, didn't get on with it. Okay, well, you know, it's all about your style, what you prefer, and this is why I always have multiple exchanges in the description, because some people don't like weeks, some people love weeks. Okay, I love weeks for my play accounts. Okay, you know, I sometimes like to throw like a couple of $100 or $1,000 into the weeks account and I just go crazy, knowing that, you know, I can blow up the account. So I really enjoy trading on weeks to have fun, right? It's my fun account, let me call it that. And right, sometimes I triple, quadruple the money in there in one day. And but BTCC and Bluffin, you know, I'm a little bit more responsible. I've got bigger amounts in there and I can't go crazy. Well, I don't want to go crazy inside of these accounts. But I do have multiple accounts for hopefully every personality out there in terms of what you prefer. So if you are a 1 hour time frame trader or 4 hour time frame trader, you don't actually care about fees. You know, if you are trading bigger 10%, 20% moves on your favorite altcoins and on Bitcoin, or you're a swing trader, you actually do not care which exchange you're trading on. You want something that has a lot of liquidity, that is stable, and you actually don't care about the fees, because the moves that you are playing covers all of those fees plus much more profits in the bag. Okay, but if you are trading smaller time frames like the 5 minute, 1 minute time frame, then fees becomes an issue. Okay, native tokens on my play accounts. I hold huge bags of P-Hub tokens. P-Hub tokens, I don't know what that is, Mark. For which exchange is that? Right, crashing, also scam weeks. What about BTNux? I will go check this out. I'm going to flag your comment and then I'll go check it. I'll do some research on some of these exchanges that you guys are highlighting. And by all means, guys, if you have a favorite exchange and you want the best sign-up bonus from that exchange, or maybe you want some free money from that exchange, let me know and I can go and speak to those exchanges and I can put the link in here so you get the best deals that that exchange has to offer. Because often what happens is you go and Google an exchange, okay, you sign up and you get nothing. And, you know, the power of a YouTube influencer, you know, if we have any power at all, is we are able to talk to these people and say, no. For my community, you need to come to the party, right? I'm not going to put your link in my description and my community cannot benefit from it. So if you have your favorite exchange, let me know and I'll go talk to them and I'll put it here. Right. Delta Exchange works in India. Deribit, okay, Mark, that you are funny. Right, OKX. Okay, guys, I'm gonna make some notes. I've got my notepad over here. I'm gonna make some notes. Right, so we've got. I'm gonna speak to all of these exchanges. BTNX. Okay, we've got OKX. OKX I actually know about. I don't think I've ever traded on OKX. I have to check. Right, I'll go check out these two. For now. Bybit, yes, Stefa 1, I also still trade on Bybit. Mainly my spot positions, my very, very large spot positions. Long-term portfolios. I also, you know, I don't even have an exchange or affiliate link for them, but I also use Binance, okay? And I don't enjoy trading on Binance, but it's a nice little off-ramp here in South Africa because it links directly to my bank account. So it's easy for me to transfer money to and from using Binance. So use different exchanges for different things. Right, so legends, it looks like we're currently getting a bounce. Why is my alarm going off, by the way? Why is my trend on the 1 minute, is it breaking? Is my trend on the 1 minute breaking? Let's see. Oh, there we go. It's tapping it. It's tapping it. Okay, guys, this is a little bit scalping over here. Okay, it's tapping it. So if, you know, what I would like to see is a couple of candles close above. I'm not going to enter when my alarm goes off and trade and price is still below my area of interest. It's not how I trade. You might have a different strategy to say that you're going to nibble a little bit here. Maybe your stop goes below these lows, TP1, TP2, however you want to play this trade. But I mean, these moves are small, guys. If you play a breakout, TP1 is 0.75% away. TP2 is 1.66% away. So it's small little moves that you're playing here to the upside. So, right, that's where fees matters. OKX, I've got OKX here. Right. Okay. Be super cautious with OKX. I got literally scammed by their own admins on peer-to-peer trading. Ooh, got funds stolen by admin there. Yeah, I think every exchange has a horror story. And I have done research and read the reviews on every single exchange. I know for a fact, okay, I'm not going to hide it, Weeks has really bad reviews. And this is why for months I didn't promote Weeks. I was testing them in the background, okay? And I saw the reviews on, what do they use? Trustpilot. I saw the reviews on Trustpilot. But then I read the reviews on Bybit, and I read the reviews on Mexi, and I read the reviews on BTCC, and I read the reviews on Bluffin and on Binance. They're all terrible. They're all terrible. So, you know, you just need, and especially when those exchanges started out, Bybit, holy crap, you guys must see the reviews on Bybit when they started out. People losing money. They had a stop loss in place. The stop loss didn't kick in. They had really bad reviews. So for me, it almost seems like when an exchange like Mexi, Weeks starts out, you know, they're figuring things out. They have a user protection fund. So when they get, and this is the only reason I started promoting weeks, because I told them, okay guys, I've now used weeks for 6 months. I feel comfortable to promote it to my community. It looks like you've sorted out most of the bugs that I need sorted out from a trading perspective. I now feel comfortable promoting it to my community, but there needs to be a user protection fund. I don't want a community member to come to me and say they had a stop loss in place and their account got liquidated. How do you protect those users? That was the most important thing. So they put a user protection fund in place. So if ever you trade on weeks, on BTCC, on Bluffin, on any of these exchanges, and you have a stop loss in place and your stop loss does not get kicked in, and you either liquidate the position or you liquidate your account, you can log a support ticket and they will refund you your cash. Okay. Right. Only with the links down in the description, guys. You see why I don't like to play along when the alarm goes off. I need to see the sign of strength, because now here it goes again, back to the downside. Right, just dumping here to the downside. I want to see what dominance is doing. I mean, guys, the dominance looks very interesting. If it can maintain this higher low, it's fine if it still comes back up and retests the trend, but as long as it can maintain a lower high, okay, there's a chance that's we haven't hit support yet. It was very strange for me that we turned around over here. I acknowledge that you tapped the tops over here, okay, I acknowledge that, but it's not really a strong bouncing level, okay. So there's still a chance that it rejects and it comes to the first area of proper support, which is 61%. And I mean, this can be epic for our favorite altcoins. Right, something I quickly wanted to point out here on Mr. ETH. Okay, very, very interesting level. It's either this zone or the 1.618. Just want to point that out. Very interesting zone. I also have a trend that I'm tracking over there. Just FYI, okay? Without going into too much detail. What I want to point out over here is on the larger time frames. Okay, this is a structure that I have been hammering on for long now. Okay, and for those of you that's been following me here on the channel, you know, where I just said, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still looking for the high to be claimed again, and we have now officially, ETH has now officially claimed the high. Okay, so the momentum is either not finished and it's still going to go higher to claim the box where I actually want it to reject. So, you know, and this is why I've got the trend. This is why I've got my fib extension levels in here. There's a chance that the structure is not finished. It's still going to go a little bit higher. But it has claimed the high. So there's also a chance that the fifth wave is done. Because, you know, as long as the high of 3 has been claimed, one could argue that the fifth wave is tick. It's done. And now ETH is going to start with a larger corrective structure. It doesn't look pretty for me. It looks like it still needs to continue to this box. I would like to see high time frame candle closes above over here. Okay, like the 4 hour, 8 hour, even the daily. I want to see some candles close above there. That's a better confirmation of a finished fifth wave. So there's a chance that ETH still has a little bit more upside. Okay, and that's why on the smaller time frames, I'm very interested in a long in this zone. Very interested. I've got my levels. I know that we are currently finding support here. Okay, I know that Bitcoin has a chance for higher levels where all of this is corrective. Ooh, did my internet just freeze? There we go. Okay. So quickly wanted to go through ETH. It has officially claimed the highs. Claiming the highs, if you are in a long from lower down, is always a great profit taking area. I would like ETH to still go a little bit higher, but I might not get what I want. But there is a chance that the fifth wave is done. There's a chance. I would like it to come to my box. Let's see how this all unfolds. Okay. Right, something else I wanted to discuss here on the price of Bitcoin. I didn't go through all the scenarios. Right, now that we have taken the low, by the way, the trend changes over here. You now have a new trend, okay? By the way, Okay, make sure I'm going to set my alarm on that trend in case I miss the SFP from lower down. That's my safety line to get back into the trade with good risk management. So, I mean, guys, there are many scenarios. I just want to see if I still have this saved up. Yesterday, oh, here we go. Right, this scenario we spoke about yesterday, still in play. Okay, let me take the arrows out. We don't need that anymore. This is still what I wrote yesterday. Do you guys remember? Okay, Y wave can still extend and take the low of W. Took it. Right, this could still be a W, X, and now we're forming a Y wave. The problem with this little bad boy, the problem with this Y wave that I've got here in purple, okay, let me make it white so maybe everyone can see it a little bit clearer. Let's make it white. There's your WXY. WXY in simple terms is a three-wave structure. WXY. It's a three-wave structure. The reason we call it a WXY and not an ABC is because each wave has three waves inside of it. ABC, ABC. Okay, and now Y. This is the problem. Well, not really the problem. This is the challenge. Y waves can be very complex. You can either form a flat, which is actually the highest probable scenario. A flat. What does a flat mean? A flat means you claim the low of W. Okay, you claim the low of W. You claim the low of X, and then your wave Y is done. You come back. You form a higher low and you continue. Okay, it's a flat basically. So a Y wave can form a flat where it takes the low, it takes the high, then it forms a higher low and it continues. So you have a flat inside of a Y wave. That is the most common structure, especially if your W is a zigzag. Zigzag. You have a zigzag in a W. The highest probable scenario for your Y is to have a flat. A flat basically means you claim the high, you claim the low, and then you continue. So this scenario is still in play. This is also why I was so interested in longs over here. Very interested because this could be the end of the flat where it now continues and grabs the high. Very interesting shorting zone over here. So when I show you guys the scenarios, okay, and I switch on my point of controls, if the flat is going to play out, by the way, I can take that out. We don't need that anymore, that point of control. Okay, and also what I want to do is I want to switch off the lines because that becomes very messy. Let me switch off the lines over here. Okay, so this one actually came down. That was your A, B, that was your A, B, A, B, C. Beautiful. Three-wave structure. Anyways, let me do this. Clean it up. Right, cool. And I can take that trend out the way. Right, so let's make it nice and clean. Right, legends. So because of an ABC and an X, so you have a three wave up, you could now form a flat that takes the low, which it did. Okay, it can still go a little bit lower. It can even go here to the levels that we've identified to the downside in the beginning of the stream. It can then go up. This to me is still a very, 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 very interesting zone. Because in your Y wave, when you form a flat, you can come back down again. Okay, so I'm still, you guys can see if I take the scribble here out the way and I switch off the scenario, it's still a very interesting zone to look for a short. I mean, look at that, right? On Bybit, this point of control is a little bit lower. Okay, it actually aligns perfectly with a 786. Okay, but I trade the chart in front of me. It would be interesting to see on Coinbase. Let's see here on Coinbase. I want to take a fixed range profile for this area over here. Okay, and this is now part of my back testing. Is Coinbase more active? Coinbase has that level all the way up there. Okay, well, let's see how this is going to play out. Which is fine. It actually looks like it taps the 0.88. If I take a fib. Yep. which could be a flat, right? Anyways, legends, so I am still very interested in this zone for a short. Because if this is a W, this was your X, and you create a flat in Y, claim the low, which we now have already done. We can even go a little bit further. It doesn't matter, but you basically have a flat. This becomes an interesting shorting opportunity. So this becomes definitely an interesting long, but this also becomes an interesting short where it looks like you're going to claim the high and you actually tap the level properly this time. We front run it. We didn't tap that level. Okay, so looking for longs. There is definitely a possibility that we SFP here from the low and we start moving up. You take the liquidity from the high and then you start moving down. But this is where I'm going to start looking for long opportunities. That's going to take this high if this had to play out. If price finds support here and it starts moving up, okay, and it rejects here successfully and it starts moving down, I am looking for longs. And I'm not just looking for this high to be claimed. I'm even looking for $114,000. If this plays out according to textbook, this plays out, this could be a nice little long opportunity. Maybe we have a nice trend, price makes those little waves. You can play the breakout over here. Okay, it has a good chance of coming to hit $114,000. Very good chance. Okay, this could be an epic trade here to the upside. But also, this could also be an epic long to the upside, an epic short to the downside. Not guaranteed to take the low, because this could now be your first structure, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the upside. Right, so this is from a bullish case perspective that could still potentially play out. The Y wave, okay, very complex structure, right? So let's switch this back on again. Here we go. This Y wave is not easy, okay? But based on the probabilities where it can reject and where it can go to, I can have trading scenarios ready to rock and roll. Because your Y wave can also build a damn triangle. It can also start a triangle over here. Okay, and then it breaks out. Triangle, because your W was a zigzag, the only two options for your Y wave is either a triangle or a flat. And a flat takes priority over a triangle. Okay, but basically both scenarios says that, you're going to, whether you form a triangle or whether you move up here and reject and then go up, okay, you're still going up. And this is still corrective. The bearish case scenario, which for me at the moment carries lower probability, but it's never invalidated, okay, is this little structure here that we are looking at to say that, well, what if this is an A, this is a B, okay, so you have a three-wave structure in a A, you have a three-wave structure in a B, and now we are forming a bigger C wave to the downside. Three-wave, but it's still corrective, right? I'm still looking for a bounce back up, but it just means that it's going to go deeper to the downside. It's just, this is very choppy. You want to see that third wave kick in. You want to see some, okay, but anyways, that's the bearish case scenario. The most bearish case scenario, this is not an ABC. This is a 1. This is a 2. And now we are getting ready. We are getting ready to fall. Like it's gonna fall. And I've spent a lot of time telling people, where's my concern? There's my concern. Okay, not an invalidation, but that's my concern, which gives me the probabilities that we either continue ranging sideways, either in the triangle, or we do a flat, okay? We could even still come and take out this low in a flat, because there's another scenario that I have here on Coinbase. Okay, the new exchange or pair that I'm testing out. You can form a B wave that rejects by the 8-8. Normal A, three-wave A, three-wave up. Okay, well, this is basically forming a larger three-wave in a B wave. Okay, but you can see still, even with this scenario, even if I count this as an A, B, C, okay, with or a WXY. I'm looking at the same trading scenarios. The only difference is I'm still looking for the rejection. Still looking for the rejection before we claim the high. But then you could form a 5-wave here to the downside. So in that other scenario that I've highlighted over here, guys, where I've said that, you know, I'm going to, where is it? Yeah. If price claims the high, it rejects. Remember, that can now also be the B wave. But it could also be the end of your Y, where you claim the lows of W, you claim the highs of X, and then you make a higher low. So this is going to be a critical moment, because is this a B and we're going down for a C, or is this a corrective structure to the downside? And then I'm going to be paying attention to things like this when we get here. Do we form 5 waves to the downside? Is it corrective? Is there loads of bearish CVD building up? So there's going to be a key moment for me to analyze what's going to happen over here. Are we forming a C wave to the downside, or are we going to form a higher low and continue? Right. Never easy in trading, right? It's about reading the price action as it develops. And let me go through some comments. Dewald, when do you think is the best time to add our spot bags? That's a really good question. Right. You have to, you know, if you want a proper answer to that question, you really have to just zoom out. Go to the weekly, go to the daily time frame. Okay, so if I look at ETH here, for example, let me just clean it up. Just want to switch off the noise. Let me clean it up over here. Something is still on. Here we go. Right. So if I look at ETH, for example, on the weekly time frame, my target for ETH is to come and claim this high and even go a little bit beyond. $7,000 is my area based on my technical analysis. Okay, and you might have different technical analysis. Also, when I take a fib from the high to the low, we have tapped the 0.88 twice, which increases the probabilities of coming to claim this high. Also, when I look at the macro structure, this is a 3-wave structure to the downside. Where's your 4? Where's your 5? If ETH made another low over here, I would have said there's no ways I'm buying any spot bags. No ways. I'm not getting into it. Because once you create a 5-wave structure to the downside, this could be corrective and you're going to continue momentum to the downside. So there's a lot of things that I take into consideration. So because the probabilities based on the structure is higher to come and take out this high before we take out the low, one could argue, well, anywhere in this zone is a good load up zone. You just have to be comfortable with being underwater, because we don't know how bullish things are going to get. We don't know if ETH is even going to have a pullback. What if ETH doesn't make that nice little pullback where everyone is waiting for the nice little buying opportunity here above the highs? Okay, that's the zone. Look at the order block over there. Look at the highs over here. This is where most people want to load up on ETH. What if we don't get it? What if ETH just continues, small little consolidations continues, small little consolidation continues, small little consolidation continues? Well, I've seen this before. I've seen that before. Now look at this, right? I've seen it before. Doesn't matter which token you use. You pump sideways, pump sideways, pump sideways, pump sideways. You could now continue, sideways, continue. Like it can just go on forever. You don't know when it's going to stop, right? And so knowing that you might not get a higher low on ETH. If you do get it, great, because that is definitely a zone where I want to open up a swing trade. I'm waiting for that level, but I'm very well aware that I might not get it. Because usually when you get aggressive momentum to the upside, the market makers loves to do one thing. They love to leave people behind and force them to buy in at higher levels. And that is what creates the blow off tops. Okay? This blow off top was created by FOMO. This blow off top was created by FOMO. Price moves up so aggressively that it doesn't give people the pullback that they need to load up their bags, and they start FOMOing in, and you get a blow off top, and you get a blow off top. So often what could happen is price just continues, and everyone that was waiting, okay, they're like, oh God, maybe I should just buy. Okay, let me start buying, and it creates that momentum, that blow off top to the upside, and then you go back into a bear market. Right, so for me, you know, it's not an easy thing to say, and this is why I'm saying, guys, no financial advice, is that I'm hoping for a pullback, a higher low. Maybe there's a beautiful trend, you can play the breakout for continuation here to the upside, but you might not get it. Okay, so if I'm targeting the highs and even a little bit higher, I would say this zone is still a great load up zone. And if you do get the pullback, you need to be uncomfortable with being underwater, and it potentially becomes another load up zone. So that's why you always have to have dry powder on the side. So if you're buying a little bit every month, you know, that's the, you know, and you do get there and you're now underwater because you bought over there, you buy more. It drags your entry down. Okay, it just depends on your trading strategy. But this is not a zone where I go all in with my entire account and just close my eyes and hope for the best. Okay, I was lucky enough that I bought these dips here to the downside, and I did have a lot of live streams during this phase where I told everyone I'm buying. Yeah, I got, and the lower price goes, the more aggressive I get with buying. So, you know, I might buy $10,000 over here. Yeah, I buy $20,000. Yeah, I buy $50,000. So I do get more aggressive with as prices moving lower, and especially with the fear that I saw in the market. And if you guys don't believe me, go look at the live streams during these dumps. I told everyone I'm buying. Okay, and I got a lot of hate for some reason. But I had to tell everyone that I'm buying up the fear. Okay, I can't help myself but to buy up the fear. Right, I just want to see what it looks like from a log scale perspective. So if you take a fib here from the high, and this was my thesis, guys. This was my thesis. Look at this. You take a fib from the high to the low. We tap the 0.88 twice. Twice. You have a macro 3-wave structure to the downside, which tells me whatever is happening over here is corrective, and you're still going to come and take out that high. So anywhere, basically, guys, anywhere in this zone becomes a buying opportunity for me. No financial advice, right? But, you know, I'm not going to buy over here. Okay, but because that's where I'm going to start taking profits to the upside. So from a simplicity perspective, I can take, let's see, I want to see, okay, from a simplicity perspective, I want to take a trend-based fib from this low to the high to the low. My TP1, where I'm going to take aggressive profits, is the 1-to-1 extension. Okay, this is most probably, I don't know, I will see what I'm going to do when we hit that level. Okay, this is most probably where I'm going to take 60% profits. Okay, but I'm going to basically take out all of the capital that I've invested. So you take your initial investment out and you take some profits. Okay, because if price turns against you, okay, but I know that there's the chance it's going to go to the 1.236, $9,000. I don't think that's far-fetched given ETH's history. There's definitely a possibility that, you know, after a corrective structure, you can go and tap these levels above. But I know for a fact, once ETH gets here, I'm going to have people here in the live stream asking me, can we buy ETH? And I'm going to tell everyone, yeah, no, guys, we're taking profits, right? We're taking profits. Do you guys remember everyone what that was asking me over here? You know, can you imagine if price gets here to this level, you know, and you're going to look back at this and say, crap, I should have bought over here. Okay, hopefully we do get the pullback. That's a better entry. I agree. You know, you want to see a pump, a higher low, and you want to see continuation. I just get the sense that there's too many people waiting for this low. And the market makers loves to either front run it, they just continue, and you get these sideways corrective structures that we've seen in Bitcoin. You get this. Okay, you get that. You get that. And everyone waiting for the higher low don't get in. You force them to buy in at higher levels. Okay. And that's what creates the FOMO pump to the upside. Okay. Right, so where's that? I forgot your name now. I just want to bring up your comment again. Dewald, when do you think is the best time to add to our spot bags? I hope I've answered your question in some way. Just remember, there's no financial advice. If Ethereum does pull back and makes a higher low, okay, you need to be uncomfortable with being underwater. And it potentially still becomes a great buying opportunity. And let me be transparent, guys. I still have limit orders below this low. Aggressive limit orders below this low. Because this is still corrective. And if all hell breaks loose and Bitcoin starts dumping aggressively here to the downside, okay, I want an amazing entry down here. And there's only one reason I still have a limit order over here. The biggest reason I still have a limit order over here, and I know there's a very high chance it will never get hit, and this is why I started buying aggressively with this dip here to the downside. I want to see if I still have it, or if I can still remember the FIP pool. A, B, C. Okay, I think it's this one. You take a trend base FIP from the high to the low to the high. Okay, this is the reason I still have limit orders at $1,362 because we didn't tap it. And that is an A, B, C target. But I acknowledge this is also C wave target. This is also a C wave target. So when we did the dump here to the downside, okay, that's a C wave target, C wave target, C wave target, C wave target. This is why I started buying. So I still have limit orders here, and I'm hoping and praying that it will get filled. But I also know that it might never get filled, okay? And then I'm just going to take profits here to the upside. But at least I'm in. I'm in. So I hope I have answered your question. Okay. Max Payne, let's see. Dewald Legends, you don't need to worry about the pullback. Just let me buy and we will have a pullback. True, right? That's so true. Finally, how often has it happened? Finally, when you decide, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger. I've got my dry powder has been drying even more there in the sun. I'm going to just pull the trigger and buy. Jack, it's so true, right? And then you get the dump, right? And you're like, crap, okay? Now that I'm buying, we're getting the dump. But guys, I've gone through this in a lot of detail. So okay, I do see, it's not particular. It's maybe I will say it's maybe it's my view as well, is that when you have, okay, I want to show you guys this. Okay, let's just talk about the most bullish case scenario. Let's just entertain that at the moment. Dewald, what is the most bullish case scenario? Okay, I have to zoom out a little bit for that. Right, let's do this. The most bullish case scenario is that you have now formed your first wave 1 and 2. Okay, let me do this. This was your 1, this was your 2, and we are now busy with the third, and we're going to go like such to the upside. And the reason technically it makes sense that we are potentially busy with this third wave that could really extend much higher, okay, because third waves don't have targets, okay, they can just go to the 618 levels, 2, 618, 3, 618, 4, they can really rock and roll. I'm just from an example perspective, okay, is that third waves are the most aggressive. They have a lot of volume and they leave people behind. That is its characteristics. Third waves leaves people behind. So if you have a 1 and now you have formed your corrective structure in 2. Now this structure here to the upside has all the characteristics that I like to see from a third wave. Firstly, okay, the end of something and the beginning of something new. There's some nice green volume starting to kick in over here. And so far, the structure has left people behind because of the shallow retracements, which is characteristic of a third wave. So in the most bullish case scenario, we are busy with the third wave, and this is why people are being left behind. Okay, and this could literally continue, and it can even go sideways. Continue, it goes sideways. Can you see how it leaves people behind until the third wave is done? And then everyone waiting for the damn pullbacks are not getting their pullbacks, because that is what third waves does. It leaves people behind. They are very aggressive and they have shallow retracements. Okay, is BTC most probably breaking out again? Let's, yeah, okay. Anyways, so the most bullish case scenario is that Bitcoin is now potentially busy with its third wave. And this is the first leg inside of the third wave. Okay, and this is why I always harp on the fact, guys, you do not have to get a deep correction. It is very, very characteristic for a 2 to have a deep correction. Okay, in Elliott wave theory, let me just take a blank piece of paper over here, right? When you have a 1, you can have, it's very common to have a very deep 2. Then you have your explosive 3, you can have a sideways 4, and then a 5 that claims the high. So basically your structure looks like this. Very, very common. It's not uncommon to see this, okay? You have your wave 1, you have the deep 2, which is very common to have a deep 2, scary 2. It scares the crap out of everyone. Then you have your explosion here to the upside, the wave everyone wants to be in. And then you get a sideways wave 4. And everyone waiting for lower levels gets left behind. And then you have your retail wave to the upside. And this is everything that I'm going to cover in my course as well. Okay. Then it works the other way as well. Okay. If you have a shallow wave 2, you could then have a deep wave 4 and 5. Because the rules of alternation also takes place in Elliott wave theory. When you have a sideways 2 and then you get the explosion, you often get a deep 4 and then a 5. If you have a deep 2, you then get a shallow 4 and 5. Okay, just rules of alternation. Right, so I just thought I wanted to share that with everyone. Okay, so now taking it back to this structure, okay, one could definitely see, well, we had a nice little pump to the upside and we had a deep correction. Okay, scary. Can you know, the fear and greed index were at extreme fear when we hit these levels down here because it went deep. So if we are forming a third wave here to the upside, you could have very shallow retracements, okay, on the way up. It doesn't have to go deep. The damage has already been done. Okay, now this wave is potentially just going to leave people behind. So one of two things, okay, is going to happen inside of this structure. Let's go to the 4 hour. Guys, and this is maybe just personal bias. Let's see how this plays out, but it's got nothing to do with my technicals and what I am planning to trade and buy from a spot bag perspective. Well, I am going to buy more if we do get a deeper retracement, but I'm kind of leaning in the camp based on how the structure has formed so far to the upside. This is either the top for now, and we are going to go sideways for a lot longer. Everyone that made money with this move to the upside, do you know where people lose the most amount of cash? A lot of people make money with this. But people lose all of their money inside of the ranges. All the money that you made there, you lose it over there. All the money that you made there, you lose it over there. And all the money you made here, you're going to lose it over here. And I'm talking about inexperienced traders. Most inexperienced traders make a lot of money in a trending market and they lose everything during a ranging market that, you know, it's designed that way. It goes sideways, it chops, it bores the crap out of everyone. When are we getting the dip? When are we getting the dip? And then it just blasts to the upside. Okay. I'm leaning in this camp. I think based on what I'm seeing here at the moment starting to develop, we're either going to get a longer sideways corrective structure where you just have W, X, Y, X, Z, W, like you can just have a longer corrective structure that bores the crap out of everyone, and then all of the sardines, you get a massive pump here to the upside. Or maybe the high is not in yet, and we go back up for one more high, and then we start that long, boring corrective structure. But at some point, the structure has to correct itself. It doesn't have to go deep. It can go sideways. It is time that is the most important. Okay, so if you take a time fib from the low to the high, okay, if this is the top, you need to still go sideways up until at least the 8th of June. If this is the top. If we, make one more high, then I need to move this up. This then moves up to the new high. And then we're going to go sideways until the 12th of June. Okay, so I will just move up. But you have to, from a timing perspective, okay, if I measure this impulse, the timing make perfect sense. If I measure this impulse, the timing make perfect sense. The timing make perfect. So each impulse had the corrective structure from a timing perspective. You cannot just pump all the way and not stop and not hit a minimum target, at least just going sideways. Right, legends, if I take a fib, last thing over here, if I take a fib from the low to the high, like I said many times, guys, there's a lot of people waiting for this zone to get hit. A lot of people. I see it all over social media. I see every goddamn YouTube influencer talking about this level. It has nice confluence. You have the 50%. You have the 0.618. People are waiting for this higher low because everyone has missed this move to the upside. They have missed it. So everyone wants the pullback so that they can load up in anticipation for the rock and roll move here to the upside. So the market makers love to do the following. They love to send it sideways and you leave like we did over there and like we did over there. Okay, they're going to either send it sideways and everyone waiting over here is going to get left behind, or you fall aggressively to the downside. Okay, you even tap the 0.88, which increases the probability of taking that low. You scare the crap out of these people because I can just imagine the limit orders. People have all their limit orders set over here. Okay, and where does their stop losses go? Below this low. Right? So all of them are underwater. The price action has scared the crap out of them. Okay, some of them get fearful because they see the probability of taking that low. They cash out. They take the loss. Okay, it's too close. It's too close because I remember I remember this. Okay, let's say this plays out exactly the same, right? Let's zoom here because I remember this. Do you guys remember this? Okay, let's just say this is what's going to play out. We are here. Let's say we are here at the moment. Okay, we've had the nice rally here to the upside. So the market makers either likes to send it sideways and then you continue and you leave all the people behind that's waiting over here for the higher low, or you scare the crap out of them and you do that. Because I know for a fact a lot of people that even nailed their entries over here chickened out of their trade when price came down. They just said, fuck it, I'm out. And then price went. And they're like, okay, and then it forces them to buy back in at higher levels. It doesn't even have to stop out people. People chicken out of their trades before the stop loss gets hit. So you scare the crap out of these people that had limit orders over here. Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button for the education. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the live stream. I just like to go through these psychology scenarios as well because they do very, very often play out. Okay, right, legends, thank you so much for joining the live stream. Remember, the best deals for the exchanges that I use is always down in the description. Also, your way to support the channel. And if you would like to join our Legends Pro community, okay, where I provide daily technical analysis, not just me, myself, and Andy, and the coaches. We've got advanced trading setups. Oh, I saw Aiden also highlighted that trade. Awesome, Mr. Aiden also highlighted that trade. We've got easy setups from an altcoin perspective. Okay, we've got the paid community. We've got the free community. If you guys would like to be part of the community, here's the link down in the description. And have yourselves a great evening until the next one. Cheers for now.